Well, here we are, guys. It is just, less than 2 weeks now until WrestleMania 42. And if you're noticing, I'm sounding a little bit different. I'm actually coming to you from an undisclosed location for the next day or two. Taking a quick trip here with the family, and hope everyone is doing well here in this beginning portion of April, as we are just 13 days away from WrestleMania 42. I'm currently in my vehicle. I can't be in the hotel room here because, little ones are sleeping. So I apologize if the noise is a little bit different, or the quality isn't as high as you would expect normally. But I'm here, and it's late, and we're going to talk. And we're going to talk wrestling because we love it. That's what we're doing, as, again, we are just a mere 13 days away from WrestleMania in a week that was really weird. And I am trying not to prejudge some storylines. I'm trying to take the high road here, which is a road I'm really not familiar with, but one that I should travel a little bit more often, I recognize. And I am just, I'm struggling here because there's so much coming out, and I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. And there's so many conflicting opinions about especially the Pat McAfee decision and having him be the reveal. Now, again, doesn't mean there couldn't be a higher power beyond Pat McAfee. Doesn't mean that The Rock still can't be there. Doesn't mean that you couldn't have somebody come out. Kevin Owens, unlikely but possible. Vince McMahon, unlikely but possible. And go down the list of people that everyone had assumed could be the actual people who were on the phone with Randy Orton, other than Pat McAfee. I don't believe anybody was out there believing that Pat McAfee could be the man that was on the phone with Randy Orton. So I'm really trying to put a good spin on this. It's difficult, but I'm trying to let this storyline breathe a bit. It is very bizarre. Pat McAfee, he may be a really good heel. Seeing him get beat up, I guess will be fun. But having Randy Orton, again, a guy that is a legend in his own time, he truly is, maybe one of maybe arguably the single biggest active wrestler that WWE still has, one of the last of the ruthless aggression era. You have him now being teamed with Pat McAfee. Well, how does this help Randy and Cody again? How does this help them? What does Pat McAfee bring to this for WrestleMania? And I'm trying to rack my brain. Is this going to get Pat over as a heel? I mean, maybe. We'll see how the crowd reacts to this. And if they boo next week, it's likely going to be their booing because they just think that this is horrible, not that Pat's a good heel and that they appreciate what's going on. So that could be the distinction. And I know that a lot of the discussion tonight is going to center around Pat and Randy, because it is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen heading into WrestleMania. I mean, just think about this, guys. Think about how far we've come. Just a month and change ago, we had Drew McIntyre as your champion. We had Jacob Fatu, yes, attacking Drew, and they still had their back and forth. We had a potential Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre three-way, potentially for WrestleMania. And that has turned into Cody Rhodes winning the championship, Randy Orton winning the Elimination Chamber, and then we have Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre go off and do their thing that, I'm sorry, most people don't give a shit about, because Drew deserves better. That's the end of the story. That's it. Drew deserves better. Much better. And then you have Pat McAfee be the big reveal for a phone call and a person that Randy's been talking to for several weeks. I have to say, I mean, I couldn't imagine this is where we would be just a couple weeks before WrestleMania, and they haven't touched at all. Here's the part that really surprises me, angers me, is that they haven't even touched once on the history of Randy and Cody, albeit in passing of, oh, the teacher and the student. Cody briefly touched on it, but we haven't even dug into the insane depth that these two have over the last 20 years. Nothing. How have they not touched upon this? And I don't want to hear, well, they'll have a follow-up match, there'll be a rematch. Yeah, great, except it won't be at WrestleMania. Why would you not want to make this story as interesting as it could possibly be heading into WrestleMania? Why would you not even touch upon the crazy history that these two have? That's the story that was baked in. Are they just assuming that fans are going, well, yeah, look at their history, I guess I'll do the research myself? Are they really doing that? Did they really think they needed Pat McAfee in this story? They needed no one. And I don't even know. They didn't need The Rock. I didn't need this mystery caller. Randy could have gone by himself into WrestleMania doing what he does best in this version of him. Punting, viciousness, violence, psychotic rage. Unpredictability. That's what they could have done. They don't need anything or anyone as a crutch to push this program along. They have one of the deepest histories that you could use to build a story. Are they suddenly not storytellers? Are they just in this? Is TKO in this now to just bring in people that are fringe wrestlers? Is that what we're doing? People who kind of know how to wrestle. They come in every once in a while. They're good talkers. Like, I mean, you have iShow Speed. I don't know who he is. I know that he's some big YouTuber. I don't care. Logan Paul is an exception, no doubt. He has actually seemingly committed himself, and he can kick ass in the ring. But you bring in all these fringe people that aren't actually wrestlers. And I understand they're trying to get eyeballs on the product. This isn't where you insert one of these people. You don't need them. They take away from the story. They detract from the story. And that's unfortunately, and no disrespect to Pat McAfee. Hey, he's actually a true wrestling fan. He is. There's no doubt about it that he is, quote unquote, one of us in a way. He loves wrestling. But just because you love it doesn't mean you should be in it. And he's living out a dream. I am genuinely happy for him. And this is no disrespect to Pat, who I have a lot of respect for in sports commentary and how he was able to transition into sports entertainment commentary. His podcast is #1 in the world, and congrats to him. And I'm not being an asshole when I say that. I'm being serious. But that doesn't mean that he's going to translate into a story automatically, and you're assuming that he's going to be an addition. In this case, he's actually subtraction by addition because of the aforementioned argument that I put forth here. Randy, Cody can do this by themselves. That's what we need. That's what this should warrant. That's why you did what you did. Assumingly. That's why you did what you did by putting Cody in the main event, just strong-arming him into the main event again, and putting Randy in the main event position after he won Chamber. And you're bringing in Pat. So I'll stop because I'm going in circles here. I think I've made my point pretty clear, and I'll see if you guys feel the same way in our mailbag this week, which should be quite interesting. And I have a little bit of backlash, as you'd expect, from my dislike of Drew McIntyre and his, I'm drawing the line at dead animals. That's where I draw the line. Not at dead family members, not at dead relatives or friends, human beings, but God damn it, I'm going to draw the line at dead animals. Yep, that's what he's going to do. We're not allowed to talk about them. We're not allowed to talk about them. And one other thing, while I have my own platform and I can kind of vent as I need to, there was a tweet that I put out about Dave Bautista and how, if you ever wanted to come back to wrestling, somebody made the comment, and I said, hey, I hear there's an opening in the women's division, and some people are saying, oh, you wouldn't say that to his face, because I posted a picture of him looking as effeminate as he has been transformed into by Hollywood. And with his pearl necklaces on, he looks like he's lost, 100 pounds of muscle mass. Completely just bought into the toxicity of Hollywood. I mean, that's what Dave Bautista's become. And I said, that's what I said. I said, there's a women's division opening, I hear. And people are like, oh, you wouldn't say that to his face. Oh, you're just a keyboard warrior. Hey, no, I would if the platform was right. I mean, I wouldn't just go up to him in the street. That's weird. But if it was a forum, or I was, having a Q&A, or, it was in some kind of setting where he was interacting with fans, yeah, why wouldn't I? People are, oh, he would kick your ass. No, he wouldn't. Do you guys know how the world works? Especially for celebrities. He has a lot to lose. What is he going to do? Is he going to attack a fan for saying things he doesn't like? Is that what he's going to do? He may have words back to me. Yeah, and he should defend himself, sure. But are some people on the internet that stupid that they think that a celebrity is going to attack somebody, or that somehow you're not able, and you don't have the permission. You don't have the permission to say something bad about somebody that can, quote unquote, beat you up, as if that's actually something that would happen if you said something to their face? Do you guys know how the world works? And I say you guys as in the people that are saying this stuff. If that was the case, I guess no one should say anything bad about Mike Tyson ever, Muhammad Ali ever. Most of the athletes in the National Football League, especially, even the major, the MLB, all these superior athletes, I guess we can never have a bad word to say according to these people. You wouldn't say it to their face. No, there's a lot to gain actually from saying to their face, because number one, it could create a viral clip for you if that's what you're looking for. Number two, even if they say something back to you, again, there can only be bad for that celebrity coming out of that interaction. There can only be bad. Again, unless you're threatening that person's life, which you should never do, or you are saying something that is just totally out of line, like, attacking their family for no reason. You take real digs at places you just don't go, which could make you look bad and backfire. But the celebrity has nothing to gain by beating you up, which apparently is the only other option that could happen according to some people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the argument of you'd never say that to his face when it comes to a celebrity interaction. No, like you should, and most of us probably would. Yes, we would. Because again, there's a 99.99% chance that celebrity is not just going to attack you, because there goes their luxurious Hollywood lifestyle. They're going to get sued into oblivion, right? And the world is going to see who they are. They're never going to get a job again, most likely. They've got nothing to gain. You morons. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I need to explain that. But I stand by what I said. I mean, Dave Bautista is the most effeminate, I'm sorry, he has become just a shell of himself. He's gone from the animal to a feminized robot in Hollywood. So, There you go. I just wanted to touch that. Now, if you guys want to join me over at Patreon, if I didn't already tempt you enough here with my commentary, you can do that. Patreon.com/WWE podcast. It'll get you everything ad-free, and it'll start at $3 a month, which gets you, again, everything ad-free. Every video that we post gets put first on Patreon, and I won't be able to do anything tonight because I'm sitting in a very dark vehicle right now, and I have really nowhere to film, and I don't have my little studio area, so I can't. But as we get closer to WrestleMania, as you noticed, I've been putting up much more video. So there you go. There's also a Discord server if you want to join that as well, which is free with your subscription to Patreon. All right. Well, beyond all of that, guys, we are going to dive into the pro wrestling from this week of WWE and start with some SmackDown. And again, Randy Orton came out. I mean, I'm not going to dive too much into this because we've gone over it here. The Pat McAfee 5-5 comment. I'm going to skip over that because I spent so much time on McAfee at the beginning here. So we start beyond the Orton and McAfee segment with Rhea Ripley and Michin. And the match went 9 minutes with Rhea Ripley winning predictably, correctly. And she hit the... Ripley went for her finish, which was the Riptide, obviously. And eventually Ripley won with the Prism Lock for the victory. And afterward, B-Fab attacked Ripley, who dropped her with a headbutt. And that's when B-Fab attacked Ripley, held her while Jade chopped her. Jade set up for her finish and froze because, again, everyone freezes when you hear entrance music. You cannot do a single thing more once you hear entrance music. And Io Sky comes out to the aid of Rhea Ripley and beat down Michin and B-Fab while Jade ran. And then Ripley came in, recovered, joined Sky, and they look like a team. It makes sense. I really, hey, I have no issue with this whatsoever. Has the Jade and Rhea Ripley build been a little bit subpar? I actually think it's been okay, especially given how limited Jade is on the mic. And there are people who are somehow feeling that Jade has been given too much too soon. I actually disagree with that. I'm critical of Jade because I understand what they see, and I agree with what they see, but she hasn't executed to the level that I think she should at this point. I've been critical of that, but she looks like $1 million. And that's how she's making her money, is by how she looks, no doubt about it. If she had the in-ring skills and the mic skills that someone who is kind of just average looking in WWE, your typical 5'6", 5'7" woman, blonde hair, kind of thin but attractive, that typical female quote-unquote wrestler look, she would not be employed. I mean, I'll put it just that way, because she would not even get a tryout in WWE. Or she would get a tryout, but she'd be, quickly in and out the door. And it's just the fact of life. I mean, Jade is making her money, and good for her. A lot of it is how you look. It's not necessarily all how you perform in the ring. I mean, look at Hulk Hogan, for God's sakes. I know we're comparing one of the greatest of all time to Jade, but Hulk Hogan wasn't great in the ring. He wasn't great compared to how we view great today. But he sold himself. He knew how to get himself over. He was the right guy at the right time in the right place. And Jade needs to improve on the mic, and I think she's taken steps forward. But ultimately, I don't think she's been given too much too soon. Because at some point, you got to cut bait, right? You got to see what you got or cut bait. And they gave Jade the championship after 2 years. That's not giving too much too soon. And they're seeing what they've got. I do not believe that's too much too soon. I just don't. So, again, the only downside to this is that Rhea Ripley, and I've said this before, has lost a lot of muscle mass. Again, I don't know what's going on with her. I do genuinely hope she's okay with whatever she's physically or mentally dealing with. And I mean that. I'm critical of her and her tattoos and all the rest that I don't agree with. Pretty much anything when it comes to outside views that she's expressed, I don't agree with almost anything. Doesn't mean I want to see her harmed or see her, go down a bad path. So there's something going on with Rhea Ripley, and I just genuinely hope she's okay, because it's very visible now. I mean, just take a look at Rhea Ripley, circa 2021, 2022, 2023 even, and now. There's something going on with her, and I just, that's the first point I wanted to make, that I hope she's okay. I do. There's something up. But secondarily, and less important, is that it just makes the story with Jade less exciting, because a lot of what enticed people to the Jade and Rhea story is, hey, Rhea's pretty goddamn big herself. She's got some muscle herself. She's a badass, right? And she still is, but she's looking much more like a normal woman, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have no issues with that. In fact, I prefer it in my own personal life for those that care. And they probably don't, and I'm oversharing. But my point is that from a wrestling perspective, selling the match, from marketing, the former body that Rhea Ripley had is much more interesting when it comes to selling the match with Rhea than it does now. Because it's muscle-bound woman versus muscle-bound woman, and now we're getting kind of a lesser than, from just a visual standpoint, just visually. That's all. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's so sexist." Oh, whatever, take that. It's just today's world. I don't care, but I think I've made my point pretty clear. Now, one thing I will say, and this is not my analysis, which is why I'm sharing it. I think it's interesting. From Pro Wrestling Net. Credit to them. They're great. Their take on the storyline with McAfee at the beginning, anyway, when he talked about the Attitude Era and all the rest. This is according to Pro Wrestling Net. It said, a storyline about the effing Attitude Era in 2026. Okay, so Ripley beating Michin was fine and expected. And the post-match angle with Io helping out Rhea was fine. But we're heading into WrestleMania 42 with Pat effing McAfee rambling on about the Attitude Era. Those of you who missed the risque content of that era might be pleased to know that my SmackDown audio review will be NSFW. I'm guessing that means not censored or something. And no, that doesn't make sense. The acronym, I don't know. But anyway, it sounds like Jason Powell, who's very educated and great in his space. I mean, I love what he does. Great voice for pro wrestling podcasting. I mean, he's great. I'd love to listen to that. I might actually listen to that. There's your free plug there, Pro Wrestling Net. You guys are good. So, all right. Next match here. I'm not going to deal with the backstage stuff because of time. Uncle Howdy versus Tama Tonga. Uncle Howdy beats Tama Tonga in 7 minutes after hitting Sister Abigail. And after the match, Tama then was yelling at Solo. He said he was just trying to help. Tama took the lantern and placed it on the mat, and Howdy grabbed the lantern. Oh my God, well, hallelujah. They got their precious toy lantern back. Well, thank goodness for that. I mean, I was really concerned for a while there that this group was, headed downhill without that lantern of theirs. Thank goodness. The payoff. I was hoping that that they could have just paid that off at WrestleMania. I think the crowd would have popped big. Yes, I'm being insanely sarcastic there. I mean, the fact the whole thing was around a lantern is just, hey, watch for the kids here, guys. Fucking stupid. I mean, I just have to say, it's almost as bad as the mechanical spider that Eric Rowan carried around. Remember that? Yeah. Okay. Sami Zayn was booed as he was walking backstage, and he encountered Nick Aldis and thanked him for giving him the opportunity. Zayn said he heard that he was going to have pyro, which Aldis confirmed, and Zayn started to apologize for last week, but Aldis cut him off and said it wasn't needed. He encouraged Zayn to talk to the people and said he was about to, but his entrance music stopped him. or entrance music did stop him, which was Trick Williams and Lil Yachty. I don't even know who the fuck that is. I don't know, like, who is that? I know who Trick Williams is, but who in the who the fuck is Lil Yachty? I don't know. Who is that? I saw him. I go, I don't know who you are. Maybe was he in NXT? Is that probably why? Yeah, anything that happens in NXT, I just I don't see because I don't have time to watch. So anyway, don't know. So anyway, Trick said they could bring it to WrestleMania, and the other guy said he thought Trick would never ask, and Trick said there's nothing he wouldn't do to get the U.S. title at WrestleMania. He said he wouldn't take any lip from the Gingerbread Man, and Trick told the fans that he would give them a preview, and Zayn walked out and said Trick had the presentation down, and he said that was all well and good. He said the pageantry has never been his thing, and he said he is a little more dressed down and working class, and he said his thing is he never does once. I don't know what, I can't read this because it was really just kind of Zayn slowly turning heel here. That's what this is. Kind of being facetious, being a little bit coy but not trying to outwardly be that way. We did have Carmelo Hayes eventually get involved here, and Hayes said he and Trick had a history a mile long, and he would give Trick a receipt. And eventually, let's see here, Zayn asked Hayes if he wanted his rematch, and Zayn said, "You got it. I'll give it to you tonight here in St. Louis." And Zayn said if Hayes wins, he'll face Trick Williams at WrestleMania, and Zayn said he would face Trick Williams if he wins. But that'll be it. So yeah, this segment went on for a while. And that's really the end of it. And we then have Aleister Black take on Matt Cardona, and Aleister Black beats Matt Cardona with Black Mass because Matt Cardona was brought back to be a punching bag, apparently. And the next segment here that's, to me, important is the Drew McIntyre promo video. He said Jacob Fatu will never be anything more than a dirty, pathetic convict. See, we draw the line at dead dogs, but we're talking about someone's actual criminal record. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We talk about Roman Reigns' dead father. No one bats an eye. We talk about Eddie Guerrero dozens of times and use him in a storyline to further, whatever they're trying to do. Paul Bearer has been used in storylines. Ric Flair's son, as I mentioned many times, and probably one of the most egregious, was used to further a storyline. And on and on and on. But nope, God damn it, don't talk about their dead dog. Are you fucking serious? So, I mean, like, does anybody see this a little bit backwards? I mean, unless you outwardly, and if you do, great, admit it. If you outwardly value like wild animals or domesticated animals over human beings outside of that fundamental belief that you hold, how can you say that talking about dead humans that person was related to or was loved or whatever is somehow not as bad as talking about someone's pet that they had for a few years? Explain that to me. Again, unless you actually hold the belief that animals have a higher value and worth inherently than human beings. But I mean, that's just an insane argument. But if you believe it, then you believe that. I just don't get it. So, anyway, he said the only reason Fatu was in WWE was because of his family. McIntyre said it's the same family that screwed him over, and McIntyre said he would show the world who Fatu is next week. I like how they're taking a break here. Not just, I mean, like, they already threw each other off a scaffolding. I mean, where do they go next? I mean, besides lighting each other on fire. I mean, they need to take a break because all they do every week was just brawl. So they need to take a step back to then eventually, yes, take a step forward next week. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss take on Lyra and Bayley. The match ended in 10 minutes with Charlotte and Alexa, beating Bayley and Lyra. And let's see, afterwards, Lash Legend comes in, attacks both members of the team. Nia Jax comes in the ring, joined in on the beatdown, and Barrett reminded viewers that Nikki Bella wasn't at the show due to getting treatment on her ankle. Yes, Wade, thank you. We were very concerned about the Bella's condition, particularly Nikki. Now, I know that he brought it up because they are probably going to be involved in a women's tag team, multi-women tag team match at WrestleMania, but it was just funny. I'm sitting there going, every time the Bellas aren't on TV, I don't think about them. They're inherently forgettable. I mean, I don't even remember that they exist until they show up, and then an audible groan exits my body. But if you like the Bellas, cool. You don't have to like everyone I like. I'm not asking anyone to. It's fun when people don't, because then you got something to debate and talk about. And when sometimes you have differences with people that you can civilly talk about, there's a key phrase, it becomes fun. But in today's day and age, when you disagree in almost anything, that person's dehumanized. I mean, that's just unfortunately today's culture. Not with everybody, but there's a large chunk of the population that, whether they believe it or not, has adopted that philosophy. They may not even know that they have, but they have. Somebody has a disagreement, a different worldview on something, or something as simple as pro wrestling. Something as simple as who they like and don't like, or whatever. That person is, in the other person's eyes, dehumanized. It's sad. And I think people aren't even aware sometimes that that's the view that they hold. All right, moving on here. We're rocketing through Damian Priest and R-Truth versus The Miz and Kit Wilson for the tag titles. And the match went 9 minutes and 20 seconds with Damian and R-Truth beating The Miz and Kit Wilson after Priest put Miz down with South of Heaven and got the victory. And fine. Yeah, I mean, give R-Truth and Priest a little bit of time to breathe. You would think that, but goddamn, I mean, WWE is changing titles left and right weeks before WrestleMania. Creative does seem to be in a chaotic state. Chaotic. None more, I think, poignant than this past week with Pat McAfee's rant about the Attitude Era. By the way, that was more than a quarter of a century ago. It's weird. I mean, take all the stuff even beyond what I said, put that on the shelf. Everything about Pat and himself and TKO's obsession with bringing in half-ass wrestlers, and put all that aside. Just creatively, there seems to be a lot of chaos. And you're hearing rumors of Triple H being fired after WrestleMania, or 12 to 18 months after WrestleMania. And there is some evidence, if you're looking for it, that they could be doing that. I mean, everything isn't up to Triple H. He's the final say with creative. He doesn't come up with all the ideas, but I wonder if Ariel, is actually the one who's calling the shots. I do wonder if TKO's top guys, including Dwayne Johnson, are actually the ones making the call and given these ideas where Triple H would have not otherwise prescribed it, and they know that Triple H is going to take the heat, and they're not. I do wonder. And I know Triple H is getting a lot of shit, and he sometimes rightfully deserves it, but there is that part of me that wonders, is he being set up for failure by having those above him essentially dictate what they want to see in certain storylines, usually the larger, more high-profile stories, the title matches. And then if the storyline looks like total shit and it doesn't work and people are going, what is going on? They know, they being executive management, they're going to know that the fans are going to think it's Triple H. And we have no real way of proving it's not. But you do wonder, is this really Triple H? You have to wonder that. And it's unfortunate that we can't ever really know. what the dynamic is there. What is Triple H being told? This doesn't seem like a Triple H decision. I mean, it just doesn't. You have Cody, who Triple H knows very well. You have Randy, who Triple H knows even more so. Triple H, who went through the ringer himself, and I would argue is one of the best heels of all time in the company. Knows what it takes to get somebody over, knows when a story is needed, knows how to further a story. You really think it was Triple H that decided, hey, you know what, guys? You know what this story really needs, because there's no story, there's no base at all. These are two guys that don't have a history. It needs Pat fucking McAfee. That's who it needs. I don't believe that came from Triple H. It doesn't make sense. This one, I think, came from above. But TKO management knows Triple H is going to get the heat. Because there's no other way of deciding, how is it disproven otherwise? So, there's a little bit of defense for Triple H there. I think sometimes we give him more shit than he probably deserves because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And I don't want to hear about Unreal. The Unreal show is only the parts they want you to see. If you don't think someone's going to act differently when they know a camera's on versus when it's not, you're fooling yourself. I don't care who you are. If you know a camera's on and they're rolling, do you think you're going to say what you normally say, or do you think perhaps, hey, you know what, I'm going to filter out this and that and say this instead of this? They're going to show you what they only want you to show, what they want you to see. That's the reality of this Unreal show. It's kind of an oxymoron because it's a show about the show, but it's still a show about what they only want you to see. If they truly wanted it to be an authentic experience, they'd keep a live feed on all the time in the creative meetings, the board meeting, whatever they're doing in their rooms to talk about the actual creative, which obviously they can't do because then it would spoil upcoming stories. But that's the only way they could truly do it. All right, I'm going off the fucking rails today. I apologize. My swearing is a little bit off the rails tonight too. And all right, I'm just in a saucy mood, I guess. So, Cody does come out, though. He hits Wilson with a crossroads. He gets on the mic. And he gets booed. But he talks about and compares the reveal of Pat McAfee, who, again, is just a horrible reveal on paper. Because WWE should no longer do reveal storylines. They've shown over the last 6 months, they cannot deal with this properly. Do they understand what it means to reveal a guy that is and has been, kind of behind a mask or on a phone? Do they understand how to pay those off? Do they have a clue? Apparently not. Apparently they have no idea. Because the reveal of Austin Theory was a big wet fart. We had Seth Rollins eventually be revealed as the 18th masked man. But by that point, we were like, yeah, well, it better be Seth. It's got to be. That's not exciting, but it just should be. And it finally was after a bunch of people we didn't recognize. It's almost like they just try to swerve us. Just to swerve us, even though they know it's a letdown and we're all going to go, who the hell is this? But to them, just swerving us is more important, even though it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's very weird. What is going on? There is some creative chaos. And then you have Brian James, i.e. Road Dogg, get fired by WWE. There's something weird going on. I don't have a good feeling about what creative has been doing, their process, what they have in store for us moving forward. I've lost a little bit of faith in how they understand how to pay off stories, because they have not done it well at all over the last 6 months to 12 months, actually. Since last year's WrestleMania, it's been kind of dog shit reveals. All right. So Cody called McAfee a stoner, a grifter, and Logan Paul without muscles and a human hat rack. And Cody said McAfee had a receipt coming. And Cody said he felt it, and he should have, because McAfee is a former NFL punter. And he said that McAfee and everyone who represents him could kiss his ass. And he said, "Oh no, is that too far?" Yes, Cody, that's just too far. No one's ever said, kiss my ass. I guess he was inadvertently reflecting with the higher ups, maybe The Rock. He's kind of like indirectly telling The Rock to kiss his ass. Well, Cody, that's not too far. What are you talking about? That's too far. You told The Rock to go fuck himself to his face. Like, if that's not far enough, then this is what? Nothing. I mean, it's just a fart in the wind. He says, "What are you going to do? Fire me? It sure worked out for you the last time." That was a good line. And he said that what Randy wants, that's what Randy wants for his legacy. Cody said Orton was his mentor and hero. And he said Stephanie told him he needs to go to a dark place and become a bad guy. Cody says he hears it, dark hair, the whole thing. And Cody said the truth is better than his excuse usually is. He said, "I don't know if I know how to do it anymore. I've got 2 kids. I've got my dream job here in front of this audience tonight." And he spoke about wrestling John Cena, Roman Reigns, and The Rock. But he said they were wrestling him too. And he said it's a wrestling match with 20 years of history, with the 2 very best wrestlers to do it. And he said he's finally hearing the voices in his head, but you don't want to know what they have to say. And this is according to Pro Wrestling Net. I'm going to give you their analysis. They said, so Cody's getting darker, and he's hearing the voices in his head. Is this the start of Cody moving in a new direction, or will he take the darker turn to beat Orton and then go back to playing his regular babyface character? That's a good question. One that I think is far more interesting than what Pat McAfee has to say. Pat McAfee, again, he shouldn't be the catalyst to turn Cody darker. The whole rant about the Attitude Era was bizarre, as we all know. I talked about pretty much throughout the show. I don't know what voices he's talking about. I have no idea. Again, it looks like we will get a darker Cody at WrestleMania, one that bends the rules simply to try to beat Orton. I still don't think he will right now, early call. I think Orton's going to take the belt, and he should. It's more interesting. But at the same time, if Cody retains, but there's a big new direction for his character, that's something I could be sold on if it's done right. The worst case scenario out of all this is that it's just regular Cody Rhodes. This is just a bunch of talk. Pat McAfee gets his ass kicked at WrestleMania. Randy Orton comes within an inch but loses. And Cody Rhodes is still champion. And it's just regular old Cody Rhodes. That would be horrific. They can't do that. So either you turn Cody dark for a night and bring him back to the light. You turn Cody darker, but it's still a babyface darker version of him that if the fans really get into, I mean, maybe they go that way, or they just flat out turn him heel. Either way, this is a crossroads, pun intended, for Cody Rhodes' character. And it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. The other thing about this whole story, the whole thing's so meta. It's so aware of itself. And I know there's sometimes times you can do that in promos, but it's been done so much that it's not exciting anymore. It doesn't make you go, oh, like it stopped being exciting many years ago. And it's now just built in as part of this story. It's now become a major part of this story. And it's about Pat McAfee, and he's going to represent the Attitude Era fan, and this version of wrestling sucks because of Cody. Why are we talking? Oh my God, sorry. I'm sorry, guys. This whole show has been kind of threaded with this, but it's just the strangest thing for a main event of WrestleMania, or the main event of WrestleMania, which could be, that we're now turning back the clock to talk about the Attitude Era fan when you have the 2 guys that we've been talking about for years now, and we're saying, oh my God, when they cross paths, just imagine the story, it's built in, they don't have to do anything. And now It's taken a totally different direction. It's like, no, don't worry about the story and the footage we could pull of Randy and Cody and sit-down interviews and making it personal. Yeah, fuck all that. We're going to now go way over here, and we're going to talk about Pat McAfee. And we're going to talk about the Attitude Era and how wrestling sucks and how the ratings are down and how WWE still has WrestleMania tickets available. And we're gonna shit on our own business on our own show. What do you think about that? Huh? What do you think, guys? Oh, God damn it, that's great shit. I mean, what is happening? So, I mean, they can't back off now. They've kind of like, pulled the trigger here. So we'll see what McAfee brings. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me here throughout this show. It's been a bizarre week in wrestling. And I hope you guys, maybe you enjoyed it way more than I did. That's very possible. And I hope you did. And again, with all of my ranting, I genuinely hope this still turns out well, and I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I really am. I do want to read one email, though, and I'll end the show. Because it highlights some people that aren't happy with me, and that's totally cool. I'm not here to shit on people, but I want to just be fair to other people that have a contrarian opinion. And this email is from somebody anonymous, but that's okay. It says, Matt, I didn't want to leave a bad review on Apple Podcasts because I do enjoy your show overall. However, I must say that Amanda's most recent review got pretty political, and it wasn't the first time. I don't care for that and often skip that episode every week. I can handle someone having a different opinion than me, but the anti-Trump rhetoric is so exhausting when it's literally plastered all over the rest of the internet and media. I just wanted to provide some feedback. Well, hey, listen, I like Amanda. I think she does a great job in what she does. And I will, and I'm not being an asshole when I say this at all. I mean that genuinely. But I will take that to heart. And I do understand what you're saying. I am guilty of it as well, kind of on the total opposite end, if you haven't noticed. Then I will say this, okay? I don't want to bring politics onto this show just as part of the show. It's not my agenda. Even though I feel strongly about certain things, I have a show that I do separately, which is called The War on Truth, if you want to check it out, by the way. I don't make that a part of the show. However, there are so many times that in wrestling or outside of wrestling, wrestlers will talk about things that aren't about wrestling, like hot political issues. And it's hard sometimes to avoid. It is difficult sometimes, especially if it becomes a big ticket item in the news. I think we'd be doing fans a disservice to not talk about it. That said, I agree. I don't want just a set-aside segment about politics on a wrestling podcast. It's like ordering pizza, and instead you get a turkey sandwich. I get it. I totally understand. And again, it's funny because I fall almost diametrically opposed to a lot of the talk and what Amanda has on her side of things, and that's okay. But here's the beauty of it. And again, I will totally take this back, and I'm not saying that to be a jerk at all. But it's cool that her and I clearly oppose almost probably everything from a political perspective, almost. But yet we are still on the same team with a co-love for professional wrestling. See, that is what's missing today. And I'm not saying by far am I I'm the model of how people should act. I am, trust me, by far I am not that. But I'm saying in principle, just generally, I think we would be all much better off if we couldn't find any common ground on anything political when it comes to anything with Trump or with Democrats, Republicans, whatever, right? It would be great if we could still somehow find common ground in a passion for something that we love and work together on that thing. It's today, I mean, that's unheard of. It's unheard of because today a lot of people on both sides use political beliefs as a substitute for religion or actual faith in something beyond just what their political overlords tell you what to believe. It's a substitute for something they're actually missing in their own life, and they just look to their political leaders to tell them what to believe. And when you have that, what happens is then you're being dictated by man. Man is telling you what to believe, who you should hate, and when your whole identity then becomes wrapped around what you believe and what you've been told you should hate and love by man, especially by political leaders who are just elected bureaucrats, then your vision of the world becomes warped because it doesn't stay the same. It becomes very much malleable. It changes. There's no constant. It's looking always inside yourself. It's not something that, it's outwardly trying to help people. It's, well, how do you feel? Follow just however you feel. It should make you happy no matter what. Well, no, there's a lot of things that shouldn't make you happy that you should just fucking do anyway because it's just better for you and your family and society. Right? So follow if it feels good, do it. I mean, that's essentially how a lot of people are living. And again, I'm not getting into, well, you should believe in God. Like, no. I'm just saying from a just high level zoom out. I think the world would be much better if people didn't look to political leaders, whatever side you're on. I don't care, left or right, center. If you didn't look to people to tell you what to believe and not believe. And I'll just leave it there. So, yes, I understand what you're saying. Totally understand. But at least look at it in the sense of, hey, we are certainly on the opposite sides of things, and it's kind of cool that we can come together for a love of pro wrestling. And that's it. So I'll leave it there. I appreciate everybody. Follow me on X if you want to dare do that. People love me over there. I'm being very sarcastic. Wrestling_audio, or search the WWE podcast. I'm that nice, cool blue check mark. And you can also follow me pretty much everywhere. TikTok, and I'll be putting up a video for patrons tomorrow. If I can find some damn time tomorrow, I will. I'm going to be coming back on Tuesday. But tomorrow I should have some time. If you want to check it out. I'll try to put a video up tomorrow. That'll do it for me, everybody. Thanks so much, and enjoy your evening or morning or day. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.